Now, life support treatment for 12-year-old Archie Battersbee. We all feel we know him, Dan, don't we now? Well, apparently that life support can now legally end. That's what a judge ruled yesterday.
He was found unconscious at his home in Southend on April the 7th. Doctors at the Royal London Hospital said he was brainstem dead, and the hospital's lawyers have argued it was in Archie's best interest to stop treatment.
So joining us now is Archie's mother, Holly Dance, and our viewers have met you before, and I think, like I said, everybody feels such compassion for you. But yesterday's ruling said that the doctors now can switch off the life support legally. What are you going to do about that?
We're going direct to the Court of Appeal. Now, over the weekend, we've got until Monday, 2 p.m. to do so. So that's our next step.
You've already appealed once, though, haven't you?
We have, yes.
And you can do so again?
Yes.
And you clearly will. You're fighting for...
Most definitely.
You described it when you came in the studio. You're fighting for time.
Most definitely. And because we wasn't given time the way we should have been given time, you know, it's still only 13 weeks for this catastrophic brain injury. This is the only way we can do it. And each time we are going to court, although it's draining, it's emotionally draining, it's absolutely breaking me, we are getting that time.
So what the argument here, and you've got to... I guess a lot of people will turn around and say, well, look, doctors know what they're talking about. They say there has been now brain death. So why are you pushing against that? Why do you not believe that's the case?
Doctors do get things wrong, a lot more so. There's lots of stories out there where doctors have got things wrong before. Again, this brainstem death thing, Archie hasn't had the brainstem death. It's now said that Archie's got a spinal injury, which I've been requesting an X-ray of Archie's neck because I believe Archie's neck is fractured and he's got a big lump, a bone at the back of his neck. I've been refused that from day one of going in.
So you're saying, basically, there's more to it than what the doctors are saying. But as Stephen just said, the doctors feel they know what brainstem death is, and now the courts have said we're going to take the part of the side of the doctors, as it were. Yes. And I suppose that's always going to be the case, isn't it? Because the court will see the doctors as the experts.
Definitely, and I just think that...
Aren't they right to do that, though? I mean, surely that's why we have medically trained doctors.
Yeah, no, they're not right to do that. Or in this case, why haven't I been allowed specialists in to... like my specialists in privately that I'm prepared to pay for? Why have we not been allowed specialists in? The second and the other opinions that we've had have come direct. They're a link with that hospital. You know, if they're so sure that this is the case, why won't they allow us specialists in? In fact, our doctor from the USA, although he's got this massive, all this massive experience, a very, very qualified man, his thing was just like pushed under the carpet. Why?
So is that an argument you can make to the court on Monday if all this goes through, which obviously you're hoping it will, because you've bought Archie time, which is what you wanted, but now you need to make some real arguments, don't you, as to say, well, why can't I get these people in? Why can't we have an X-ray? Why can't we look at this again?
I would like that very much. I think that it's fair if they're that sure Archie's not going to wake up and they're that sure he's going to be in this vegetative state that, again, a vegetative state, there's so many stories out there that we've got like thousands of stories where people are being told the same thing and they come back, some come back in a vegetative state, but rehabilitation can correct that. That is reversible. Why have I got to stop loving my child? Because he's disabled. You know, again, the whole discrimination against disabled people.
So, I mean, you'd fight for any instance of life for him, wouldn't you?
Most definitely.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would completely be compassionate and understand why you would do that. But, I mean, Archie... we need to ask, really, how is he? We need to remind our viewers that he was this incredibly healthy, strapping little boy. He was quite an athlete, wasn't he? We've seen video of him boxing and all the rest of it. And yet you found him, and you think it was some sort of probably an accidental ligature or something, was it?
Yeah, so when I found Archie, I was in the bedroom. He's like 5 steps away from me. I've come out. And Archie's on the vanity. He's got a dressing gown underneath his neck, going around the top of the back of his head, not round his neck, around the back of his head. So my initial thing, obviously, after I started to think about it, was that his attempt, maybe he was holding the rabbit, maybe he was trying to walk down the stairs and just balancing so that he didn't fall and he slipped and it's gone straight through the windpipe, or
that there was some stupid dare that he got on the internet or something like that. But whatever, what condition was he in when you found him? Was he breathing?
No, he was unconscious.
No, he wasn't already. And then obviously taken to hospital. And how is he now? I mean, is he responsive in any way at all?
He is. He's responsive. He's not conscious. He's still in a coma. But people can be in comas for years.
Oh, yeah.
But they do eventually wake. This is the thing, it's not if they wake. Well, some do. Sorry,
some extraordinary cases do.
But if he's being responsive at all...
His response is via his blood pressure.
Right.
Bath time, his blood pressure goes up. He didn't like bathing anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
His blood pressure goes up.
And were instances where he actually did hold your fingers?
Yes, there's been many.
Oh, there we see it, yeah. And you felt that was a response?
Most definitely.
It wasn't just what the doctors might say as a sort of, I don't know, reflex or something.
No, right, so this is another thing that was put to the court. The doctors attempted to reciprocate what I done, holding Mum's hand, and Archie didn't do it. Well, if it was a reflex, why did he not do it with the doctors? You know, if it's a reflex, the reflex would work, whoever holds his hand.
So there's got to be, I mean, presumably, a pretty strong case that you feel you can make to the Court of Appeal. But what are then the possibilities after that? I mean, I'm not saying if you lost that, because that's a different situation, but if you win that, what then happens?
Well, obviously, my whole thing the whole way along is to push for time for Archie. I do think that he's progressing in little ways. Things that he's gone from, obviously, the hospital had stopped his food. I had outside authorities come in and he started feeds again, and that's been told they're not allowed to stop his feeds again. And he lost over 2 stone in 5 weeks of being in that hospital. I've asked doctors why he's covered in hair. The doctor's answer was malnutrition.
Right.
Yeah, which, again, I'm quite surprised they did actually say that, because that's happened within that hospital. Now he's being fed, he's gaining weight. I don't know, he was supposed to...
How long has he been in this coma now?
13 weeks.
13 weeks. And I suppose a lot of people might say, well, how long would you let this go on for? Because people in comas their bodies their muscles deteriorate, don't they? That they do get apparently worse. So how long would you let this go on for before even you may be convinced that now is the time to say goodbye?
Well, I think, according to the doctors, it's any day now he's going to give up. That's what they've put over to the court. It's just a matter of time, and he's so unstable that it's going to be at any moment. He's not unstable at all. It's very different to what's been put over to the courts.
But that'd be your argument then, wouldn't it? That you can say, well, if they're saying it's going to happen any day now, well, let's wait and see.
Let it happen naturally and give him time. If it's going to happen, well, why rush it?
Let it happen naturally.
Let it happen naturally.
Yeah. You couldn't ever bring him home in this state, could you? He has to be in a hospital.
Or a rehabilitation centre.
Yeah. And I presume you've looked into your rights, whether or not you could move him. It would cost an absolute fortune.
This hospital aren't prepared to let him move.
They
want him to die at the Royal London. They've made that very clear. He's not allowed to go to a hospice. They want him to die within that hospital.
But they are doctors and nurses and people who care and are very highly trained.
The nurses are brilliant.
Yeah. They wouldn't want him to die if they felt there was any other way, would they?
Being on a ventilator costs a lot of money.
Do you think that's what it boils down to?
I do believe that. Which, at the end of the day, is the public that fund the NHS. I've paid into the NHS. You know, Archie's entitled to care, the same as everybody's entitled to care.
You feel he's entitled to every day you can possibly fight for?
Yeah, I do, and I'm happy to see Archie's got a GoFundMe page going. I'm happy, and I've said I'm happy for that money to go to the hospital, you know, if that's what it takes.
And they won't listen to that either?
No.
Well, you've got to put your case to the Court of Appeal again. And ultimately, I imagine you'd go on fighting even after that, if you could.
I'll fight as long as I can to give him time.
And that's why you're doing media interviews like this. You've got to keep his profile in the news in order to continue this fight. But a lot of people must be supporting you.
Oh, we've got loads of support, loads of support. Obviously, we've got the negative side with the troll page.
What, trollers?
Yeah, but they don't deserve no attention, so
No, they
we'll
don't.
move on.
No, they don't.
We've got a lot of positive people out there, and a lot of things that I originally started the whole press thing for was to get out there to parents
Who's
of
looking
the
after
online
you?
challenges.
Who's looking after you, Holly? Because you must be
Supporters.
going through hell.
I am.
And your family.
Yes,
Are you getting support? Is somebody looking after you and giving you a hug at night?
Archie.
Oh, bless you, bless you. Let us know how it goes, won't
will,
you?
thank you.
Thank you so much, and don't take any notice of the trolls.
I won't.
No, because they're weirdos, aren't they? Yeah. But yeah, keep up the fight,
Thank you.
and let us know how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Holly, thank you very much indeed. I mean, it's just so very, very difficult, isn't it? And most of us, of course, can't put ourselves in that situation. Can't imagine, but the least we can do is show you as much love and support as we can as you go through this awful situation.